So you're talking to someone in English and you're tempted to say something unpleasant, but you don't mean to be rude or offensive. So how can we sound more polite and less offensive in English? Hi, ENGLISHERA here, and I hope your day is going swimmingly. Today, let's talk about euphemisms. When we say euphemisms, these are words or phrases that are used to avoid saying unpleasant or offensive words. And I'm going to share with you some euphemisms that you can use in your English conversation so that you could express things more gently, more politely, and less offensive. Let's talk about employment. So your friend asks you, what do you do at the moment? Of course, you don't want to say that, okay, I'm unemployed and I'm spending time with my pets. So you may want to use a euphemism, I'm between jobs. I'm between jobs and I'm spending time with my pets. So when we say between jobs, it means that you left your job and you're looking for another job. So between jobs is a euphemism for unemployed, and it sounds more gentle when you say I'm between jobs instead of saying I'm unemployed.
I'm between jobs.
So, between jobs.
If you're unable to find a job, instead of saying I cannot find a job, you may want to say I'm considering options. I'm considering options. It's a euphemism for I cannot find a job. So if your friend says, oh, you're looking for a job, right? How's it going? I'm considering options. It sounds more gentle than saying I cannot find a job. So you may want to consider saying I'm considering options instead of saying I cannot find a job.
I'm considering options, Pasha.
Just considering options.
If you're the boss at work and you want to fire someone, instead of saying you're fired, you may want to use the euphemism we have to let you go, and then add some reasons why. To let someone go means to fire someone, especially if the employee is not doing well in their job. So you want to fire them, instead of saying you're fired, you can use the euphemism we have to let you go. Now let's talk about people. We often tend to offend someone based on their figure, appearance, or how they behave. So we may want to use words to avoid sounding rude or offensive. Just like when you want to say that someone is fat, you may want to say that they're curvy. Although they almost have the same meaning, curvy sounds less offensive than the word fat.
I'm curvy and I like it.
She's curvy and she owns it.
You would also hear others saying big boned instead of saying fat, just to avoid directly saying fat to that person and avoid offending them.
I'm not fat. I'm big boned.
That's not fat. He's big boned.
If you see someone who is pregnant, you would tend to say, oh, she's pregnant. Instead of saying that, you may want to use the euphemism, oh, she's expecting. Well, it's true because they're expecting a baby, right? So when you go to the doctor, usually the doctor would also ask you, are you expecting? That means, are you pregnant? So that could be a good euphemism instead of saying pregnant.
Expecting?
Oh, son, Helen's expecting.
Now, if you know someone who is deaf, these are people who are unable to hear completely or partially. You may want to use the euphemism hearing impaired, because you may not want to emphasize that they are deaf and they cannot hear. So to avoid being rude, use the euphemism hearing impaired.
My brother's hearing impaired.
You know, for the hearing impaired.
If someone is lazy, you may not want to describe them as a lazy person because they might be offended, right? So instead of saying like, oh, he's not helping at home, he's so lazy, you may want to say, oh, he's not helping at home, he's motivationally deficient. Okay, it sounds more gentle than saying lazy. Motivationally deficient. It's like the person has lack of motivation to do something. Almost the same in meaning, but motivationally deficient sounds more gentle than saying that the person is lazy. I also heard this before, like people would tend to say this to make things light and funny, instead of being offensive. If they want to say that someone is short, they would say vertically challenged. A euphemism for short is vertically challenged. Or if someone feels ugly, they would say, oh, you're not ugly, you're just facially challenged. So facially challenged is a euphemism for ugly. So it's like these euphemisms, these terms are used to make things light, humorous or funny in some situations, and they don't intend to be offensive. So you may want to use those euphemisms to avoid offending someone. Now let's talk about death. It's quite hard to share a shocking news about someone's death, and the person you would tell it to might be really depressed. So to make it sound lighter, instead of saying, oh, Michael Jackson is dead, you may want to say Michael Jackson passed away. Passed away is a very common expression to say that someone is dead. Although they have the same meaning, dead and pass away sounds less heavier than when you want to say that someone is dead. So instead of saying that, you may want to use a euphemism, passed away.
She passed away yesterday.
His father passed away.
Or instead of saying my dead grandfather, you may want to say my late grandfather. Late can also be used as a euphemism for dead. It makes things sound less heavier than saying dead. You can also hear the word late instead of dead when you watch news, documentaries, or biographies.
My late mother.
My late husband.
Or if a pet died, you know, some veterinarians euthanize pets. So instead of saying your pet was killed, you may want to say your pet was put to sleep. Put to sleep is a euphemism for killed. This is used especially for kids. It sounds shocking for kids when they hear your pet was killed. So people would use a euphemism, your pet was put to sleep instead of killed, to make it sound less heavier and less depressing. Now let's talk about things. If the thing is already used and it's being sold, we tend to say it's second-hand item. A good euphemism for this could be it's pre-loved item, or you can say it's pre-owned item. It's like someone took care of that item, that they are passing it to you for your personal use. So instead of saying second-hand item, you may want to say it's pre-loved or it's a pre-owned item.
It's your new pre-owned car.
A pre-owned Toyota Avalon.
Or if you're in the restaurant, I know some restaurants sell alcohol. So instead of directly showing that they're selling alcohol, they would say that they're selling adult beverages.
That's an adult beverage right there.
You know, I want an adult beverage.
So adult beverage is a euphemism for alcohol. So some restaurants, they put it like adult beverages to avoid saying they're selling alcohol. That's it for today's video. There's still tons of euphemisms that can help you sound more gentle, more polite, and less offensive in English. And if you know some, just share them in the comments below. And I hope you found this video useful, so please hit thumbs up, share this video with your friends who want to learn and improve their English, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more English lessons and tips. And I hope to see you soon on my next video.